Beep, 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 beep. 2024, I am in you. Now, as we pass the turd that was 2023 and taper our way into 2024, I say to thee, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to the court of the EDI Jester. Right, the best thing about this time of the year is that we get everybody doing this is our roundup, and it's just, well, look at the work that LGBT Alliance has been doing. Look at the work that Sex Matters has been doing, Transgender Trend, and individuals talking about their experiences this year of being part of this extraordinary pushback against insanity. And I always find it heartwarming. I sit there having a read and a quaff of a coffee while I'm watching, and it's always interesting to do so. So yeah, off you go, 2023. Welcome, hello. 2024. Here we are. So I thought, well, we need to start off well in 2024. And I was thinking last night to myself, what do you want? What can there be? How can I possibly come across something so quickly between now and tomorrow morning that is going to enable us to go, 2024 started off on the right foot. And lo and behold, the marvellous Kemi Badnock has dropped a nice little pebble to start the ripples for the year that we can all get behind. So I'm very pleased to say that we have this happening. And this is going to be my first video of 2024, and I'm really glad it is. So here we go. In the Telegraph reported, or the Tory Graph, whichever you want to call it, on the 31st of December at 9 p.m. in the evening, it was almost like, right, let's set the tone for the rest of the year, right? We have the news that ministers may close loophole allowing people to self-identify on passports and driving licence. First off, I can't believe that loophole existed, but it obviously does, in that people have been able to change whatever they wanted to change their sex on their passports and their driving licence. Absolutely bloody deranged, right? But it was for a very obvious reason why in the first place. It's just been misused now. So ministers are considering closing a major loophole that allows people to self-identify their gender on passports and driving licences. At present, there is no requirement for people to present a gender recognition certificate if they want to change the sex recorded on official government documents. It's almost like you could do it just for the fun of it. Nuts, isn't it? Freedom of Information requests show that between 2018 and 2022, Her Majesty's Passport Office approved more than 3,000 requests for people to change their sex marker. The figure for people who transition hasn't gone up in, I don't know how long, right? At 3,000? It's extraordinary. Campaigners say the loophole, realists I should say, come on Telegraph. Realists say the loophole creates self-ID by the back door, which it most certainly does, and leads to the danger that single-sex basis for women and girls could be compromised because passports and driving licences are commonly used for identification in normal life. Kemi Badnock, the Equalities Minister, wants to close the loophole but needs the support of other departments. The Telegraph understands that she raised this issue with Suella Braverman when she was Home Secretary and followed it up with a letter to her successor, James Cleverly. A government source said this is a major loophole that is made more problematic by the fact that passports and driving licences are frequently used as the evidence when applying for a gender recognition certificate. The Freedom of Information submitted by campaigner Peyton McIntosh, go Peyton, revealed that in 2022 there were 259 requests for people to change their sex from male to female and 269 female to male. It's almost like this is, something that odd way of thinking that appears in a certain percentage of the population. Between 2018 and 2022, some 3,188 requests to change the sex marker were approved. By whom and why? It is not known how many of these had a GRC, which normally requires a person to have a diagnosis of gender dysphoria and for them to have been living in their affirmed gender for at least 2 years. However, only around 6,000 certificates have been issued by the end of 2021 since their introduction in the Gender Recognition Act 2004. When them figures don't add up. That's what that is, when them figures don't add up. Tory MP Miriam Cates raised the issue in the Commons last month. She asked Miss Badnock to do more to stop this self-ID by the back door, Sex matters in life and law, she said, and it is right that the UK has its own rigorous processes for gaining GRCs, but these safeguards do not apply to the process of changing sex markers on passports and driving licences, which are far more commonly used for identification in real life, she said. Miss Badnock replied to her question by saying, this is an example of how the law needs updating. The reason that we have this is not that the government supported self-ID, but that before the same-sex marriage law came into being, we wanted people to be able to change their legal documents so that they could get married, she said. Now that we have a law that has fixed this, we should look again at some of the measures we put in place earlier. A petition calling on the government to stop official documents listing a person's required gender as their sex has reached 12,500 signatures. Then there's a headline, Balancing People's Rights, that's the sort of subheading. Yep. The government responded that while they are committed to protecting the rights of transgender people, they wanted to ensure that these rights are appropriately balanced with the rights of others. The response went on to say systems are in place to support transgender people in obtaining a passport or driving licence in their required gender without the need for a gender recognition certificate. Passports and driving licences are often part of evidence provided by transgender people to the gender recognition panel to obtain a GRC. The government is committed to maintaining the safeguards that allow organisations to provide single-sex services. It is important that the principle of being able to operate spaces reserved for women and girls is maintained in line with the Equality Act. We are absolutely committed to championing the rights of women and girls, which I'm very pleased to hear about. By doing so, by default, they'll champion the rights of gay people at the same time. It's a nonsense. It's all a fiction and it all needs to stop. So 2024, here we go. Cards on the table. What do I want? When do I want it? Now. What do I want? I want us to recognise that gender dysphoria is a fake diagnosis. It was made up. I want us to go back in time to uncover the rootage of this particular weed and put it out strongly by its beduberies. Right? That's what I want to do. It's a false diagnosis. It always has been. It was inculcated by activists. The entire DSV, DVS, whatever that Malleus Maleficorum book is. We need to look at how it got into it and then go back further to find out where this was inculcated. There is no such thing as gender dysphoria. Because if it was gender dysphoria, you wouldn't have to alter your body, would you? But it's not. It's someone else altogether. I think it's more akin to these people that wake up and go, I shouldn't have this leg. Same thing, innit? So I think we've got the diagnosis wrong from the very beginning, and I think we need to go back to the language of reality, such as body dysmorphia. The unhappy with one's body, which is what it is, and for whatever reason that may be. And then we can separate out the fetishists and the AGPs and call them what they are. And stop them from behaving in public in such a way. I'm still waiting for the HR letter. But I'll keep waiting. Anyway, it's 2024, so that's the first thing, isn't it? Get shot of it, right? Second thing is, we need Ofsted to add teaching or exposing children to critical social justice becomes part of Ofsted's inspection. Because we need to get these activist teachers out. The ones that I've been watching, you've been watching as well, haven't you? Where they, I'm not following the guidelines because they're only guidelines. Mermaid told me so. Them, right? We need to get them out. And the heads, especially the heads pushing it, they desperately need to go, right? So this year, that's my focus, as usual, is education. Universities need to sort their act out. So that's me moving forward, right? That's what I'm going to be focusing on, that and my warrior teachers. Come and be a warrior. Buy me a coffee. Do the usual, It's 2024. It's 5:30 in the morning. Everybody else has got hangover, and I've been working all night. I'll see you later. Bye.